Okay, everybody, we are live. The broadcast doesn't start until 4 o'clock, which is in approximately 4 minutes. So I'm just going to do some quick sound checks, make sure everything is working okay. I'm going to see if I can share this amongst the viewers. So chat amongst yourselves, and we'll be starting promptly at 4 o'clock. Go away, fly. And just so y'all know, we do have a live studio guest. It's a fly in the basement with me here. Um, we're gonna deal with what's that fly guy? We're gonna deal with fly guy. Hopefully he won't bother me too much. But like I said, we'll be starting in just a few minutes at 4 o'clock with our guest, the fly. Okay, that's shared out. All right. I see I have one person on here. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are on YouTube, I cannot see your comments. I think I can only see the comments from Facebook. I could be wrong about that. Let me see if I can pop on over to YouTube. How many minutes do I have? Let me not make any promises that I can't actually keep, because I don't even know if I'll get feedback if I'm on the computer trying to do this. But let me see what I can see. LAMB. Because I didn't think about that. I'm sorry, YouTube viewers. That's disrespectful. Let me see. Where is it? It didn't even pop up. Where's the lamb YouTube? I might have to get off of here, y'all. Oh, wait, here it is. Wait. That's not right. Nope, it wants me to start some free 30-day trial. If y'all don't quit, I have 1 minute. I don't have time to mess around. Lamb YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna have to get out of there. I do apologize, YouTube viewers. I don't know how to make it so that I can interact with y'all. I apologize. Let me take this mask off. You know, I might bebop back and forth. I bet I could pull it up on my phone. That might be something to think about. And if it's who I think it is, then hi, Matthew. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you. I think that's who it is. And if not, hi, person who's joining us. I appreciate you so much. All right. So, everyone, it is 4 o'clock. Welcome to the live stream. I hope everybody can hear me okay. Please let me know if you can't. Go on and give me a little comment, and I will fix the audio if we're having any problem. I don't think that we are, so I'm just going to go on with the good stuff, okay? Hold on 1 second. And as always, remember to like the page. If you are whether you're on the YouTube land page or the Facebook land page or Lovely from the Library, please like all the pages, like the video. It helps us with the algorithm. It tells the algorithm y'all like what you're seeing, basically. So we appreciate that. So remember to like the page, and as always, share the live stream. Okay. Cool beans. Let me go on back here and just double check one last thing here. I think that might be it. Let's see. Nope. Okay. All right, y'all. So, welcome live stream viewers. Welcome replay viewers. Welcome to the very last live stream for Lovely's Digital Book Club of 2021. As y'all know, we do 10 books a year from January to October. And the book that we will be discussing today is Witchmark by C.L. Polk. Can y'all see that? So, let's jump right into this, shall we? Let's start off. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of what the book is about. In an original world reminiscent of Edwardian England, in the shadow of World War, cabals of noble families use their unique magical gifts to control the fates of nations, while one young man seeks only to live a life of his own. Magic marked Miles Singer for suffering the day he was born, doomed either to be enslaved to his family's interests or to be committed to a witch's asylum. He went to war to escape his destiny and came home a different man, but he couldn't leave behind his past behind. The war between Ayland and Lanier leaves men changed, strangers to their friends and families. But even after faking his own death and reinventing himself as a doctor at a cash-strapped veterans hospital, Miles can't hide what he truly is. So basically, Witchmark is a trilogy. It's a part of the Kingston cycle. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. It's part of the Kingston cycle, which includes the first book, Witchmark, which is the debut novel of C.L. Polk, by the way. So the first book is Witchmark. The second book is Storm Song. Hey, there's our special guest, The Fly. Go on now. And the third and last book in the trilogy is called Soul Star. And we have these books, as you can see, in print, as well as the first two, at least, are in audio. So they're downloadable or streaming audio. All right, so it's what's known as a Gaslamp Fiction. And I know some of y'all have probably heard of steampunk, and Gaslamp is a subgenre of that. Basically, it's generally, the term refers to fiction based in a Victorian style setting, similar to steampunk, but with a broader emphasis on magic. The stories are usually not so focused on machinery of the period, or often any machinery at all. It takes more liberties with the actual time period and may contain elements of other genres. Since the term's coining, Gaslamp fantasy has been retroactively applied to other fiction written in the Victorian age, such as the works of Bram Stoker, go on now, Jules Verne, and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And I'm not gonna, for those of y'all who might not know, Bram Stoker wrote Dracula. Jules Verne did 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Captain Nemo. Did y'all know Captain Nemo's actually Indian? A lot of people think he's white, but he's Indian, child. He's in the Brahmin class. Anyway, and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, of course, who wrote Sherlock Holmes, probably one of my favorite stories of all times. Okay, so let's see. The author's name is C.L. Polk. C.L. Polk uses they, them pronouns, and around these parts, we respect people's pronouns, so that's what we're going to be doing here. If you hear me referring to them as they, them, it's going to be in, in place of a gendered pronoun like she or he. Okay, it's really simple. You use non-gendered pronouns all the time. You're just not aware of it. All right, so C.L. Polk is the author of the World Fantasy Award-winning novel Witchmark, the first novel of the Kingston cycle. Their newest novel, The Midnight Bargain, was a finalist in the CBC Canada Reads competition and was nominated for the Nebula, Faya Ignite, and World Fantasy Awards. I think Faya might be an acronym for something. I don't know what it's an acronym for, y'all. Sorry. After leaving high school early, they have worked as a film extra, sold vegetables on the street and identified exotic insect species for a vast collection of Lepidoptera, that's butterflies, before settling down to write fantasy novels. Polk lives near the Bow River in the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Confederacy. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not gonna attempt to say y'all's name. I can attempt. I'm sorry that I'm about to butcher this. Excuse my colonized tone. Siska, Kanai, and Pikanai. Go on now, fly. The Tutsinai and I can't say that one. Sorry, y'all. The Nakota Nations and the Métis Nation, Region 3. I think those might be native folks in Canada. That's the special guest, y'all, the fly. Where are we? They keep all their stuff in a tiny apartment with too many books and a yarn stash that could last a decade. They ride a green bicycle with a basket on the front. They drink good coffee because life is too short. Ooh, ain't that the truth? I love a good coffee too. They spend too much time on Twitter. I do too. I actually follow CL Polk on Twitter. I spend way too much time over there though. And then they have a newsletter. Okay, so CL Polk has been pretty busy. They've written those 3 books, plus they have another one called Midnight Bargain. Also, let me see, because this book has won several awards. Where did I put my notes at? Yes, it was nominated for a Nebula, Lambda, and a Locus Aura awards, and it won the World Fantasy Award. So that's not too bad for a debut novel. I think that's pretty cool. All right. And speaking of which, well, not a debut novel or anything like that. If you want to keep up with all the awesome stuff that we'll be doing, even though this is the last book club meeting of the year, we are still going to be doing a lot of wonderful, fun things on the Lovely from the Library Facebook page. So please sign up for my newsletter so that you can keep abreast of all that fun stuff that we'll be doing. I'm going to do a countdown in December of like some of my favorite genres, top 10 books and bestsellers and all that. So kind of think Johnny Carson, but with books. I always wanted to be on the Johnny Carson show, but I missed that boat. So I had to make my own live stream to do that. So anywho, that's a little bit about the author of the book and all the awards. They really have done a phenomenal job with this cycle, with this series. For it to be a debut novel, that's really impressive that they won all those awards. So anyway, let's start off with our cast of characters. Oh, hold on, y'all. Let me go double check and make sure I'm not missing any comments. We seem to be doing okay. Let me check on the people in the Facebook. Hey, people in the Facebook. How are y'all? Again, YouTube viewers, I'm going to get it together next time. I didn't think about how I was going to chit chat with y'all without actually being connected to YouTube. So I'll work on that and it'll be better by next year. Promise. Okay, I don't have any questions down in here. I don't see anything. Okay. All right. So the main cast of characters are Dr. Miles Singer. He's a psychiatrist and a veteran of the war that just ended. And that was the war between Ayland and the Lanier. Tristan Hunter, who is, by the way, y'all, there's some spoilers in here. I'm sorry. If you're watching the replay and you have not finished this book yet, you might want to just kind of keep an eye out for the spoilers, okay? So Tristan Hunter is an amaranthine, a celestial being with more power than any witch or mage. And then there's Grace, a mage. She's Miles' sister, his superior, and the heir to their family legacy. So, because y'all know I like to take notes while I'm reading these books and whatnot. So the story starts out as Miles Singer. He works at the VA, basically. I'm gonna jump back and forth between American terms because I find that in this book there's a lot of British terms and European terms in here, and I think that's because C.L. Polk is Canadian and Canada was colonized by England, and they have similar ways of doing things and talking. So I think that's what's going on. Anyway, Miles works at the VA hospital, and if you've never been to the VA hospital, you know that a lot of times the folks that end up going there are cash strapped. The doctors are overworked. They don't have a lot of resources. And this is my own personal commentary because I have a lot of vets in my family, but that's a funny way to treat people who you asked to go to war for. They can't get good medical care, but let me stop. So anywho, Miles is making his rounds at night when a man stumbles into the hospital carrying someone who's claimed he's been poisoned. The dying man's name is Nick Elliott, and he calls Dr. Singer Starred One and Sir Christopher. And then he transfers his powers to Miles before dying. Oh, pause for a second. I forgot to remind y'all that this is set in an alternate world, alternate history. It is a mystery novel basically set in a fantasy world. And in this fantasy world, magic is real and it works. Okay. Play. So so all of this happens in front of the man who brought Nick Elliott into the hospital, which is Tristan Hunter. Dr. Singer is worried that his cover is blown and his true identity, Sir Miles Hensley, is known to both of the strangers. Now, the reason why he doesn't want this to get out is because, like the back of the book said, and one of the other blurbs I believe I read, basically Miles is a witch and he has a specific talent. But in his society, witches are only good for two things. They're going to be secondary to mages. They're basically like batteries. And then the mages use their secondaries to siphon off power from them. Basically, they're slaves, pretty much. Yeah, they're slaves. Yeah, I would say that that's a form of slavery because they're not free. They can't go about. So yes, they're slaves. So they either are going to be secondary to a mage or they get sent to a witch asylum. And that's where they send witches, which is a key part in this book, and probably later in the series as well. They send them off to the asylum. So either way, he's not free. So what Miles did when the war broke out between, go on now, go on, fly, special guest. So when the war broke out between Ayland and Lanier, Miles went off and joined it because witches in their society are considered second-class citizens, and any gifts that they have are considered tricks. They don't see their talents as anything that would benefit anybody, and mainly because they can't figure out how to use it to benefit the mages in the high class society. So, anywho, Miles went off to war. He has a talent for healing people. He wants to be a doctor, but he can't because of the society that he is in. And so he faked his death. And then he ended up being a psychiatrist at the VA hospital because he's in hiding and he can't show off that he has a talent for healing or anything like that. So Miles comes from upper crust folks, the gentry class. He's wealthy. He comes from a very wealthy, powerful, politically connected family. And he was trying to fake his death to get away from them. So that's how that all starts out. Let's see. Okay, so Miles is now worried that his cover is blown because Tristan, who he doesn't know, he just met, saw this man pass magic on to Miles, and Miles accepted it. He called him Starred One, and now Miles thinks, great, I'm either going to go to the witch asylum or I'm finna go and have to be a slave to my little sister. Either does not look like a great prospect. So anywho, Dr. Singer and Tristan Hunter must explore the societal world of Aylin in order to solve the mystery of Nick Elliott's death and what's causing the hallucinations of the veterans. I think I might have skipped over that part. So let's go back. So in this book, Miles is making his rounds and he's treating people. He's treating veterans. And in this time period, what's happening is a lot of the veterans are coming back home and they're changed men. He's describing PTSD. Now, if you think about it, during since this is a Gaslamp Fiction, it takes place all the way from the Victorian era through the Edwardian era, or the Regency era, all the way up to late Edwardian. Late Edwardian was like 1914 or so, like right around World War I or so. Oh, did y'all see that blue light? Sorry, I think the green screen's doing something weird. Anywho, so they weren't really well versed about PTSD and veterans experiencing that. So these are like the beginning stages of that. Miles could be considered a forerunner in treating mental health in his time period. So that's part of the issue, is that a lot of people just don't believe him. He has to gather a lot of evidence to show that the men returning from the wars are not recognizable to their family or themselves. And they have like this gray ball of energy that Miles can see. And people who have his talent for seeing things can can see it too. But the issue is Miles can't run around telling everybody because then he has to out himself. And that would put him in some sort of form of servitude. So he has been treating veterans in his hospital who he is untangling this mystery aura about them. There have been people who have woken up and murdered their whole families, and they all have the same hallucination of him, him who is coming and wants to murder and kill everybody. So, anywho, Dr. Singer and Tristan Hunter must explore the societal world of Aylin in order to solve the mystery of Nick Elliott's death and what's causing the hallucination in the veterans at the hospital. Okay, so then it's revealed that Dr. Miles Singer is from a powerful family of magicians, except he didn't inherit powers of a mage. Instead, Miles is a witch. He has lesser power, and it's believed, even by him, that all he's good for is to be a secondary or an enslaved magical source for mages, basically like what I just said. Miles, knowing it was either, sorry y'all, special guest Superfly is in my face. I'm gonna get a swat flatter on you, don't quit. Miles, knowing it was either enslavement or commitment to a witch's asylum, like I said earlier, ran away from home and joined the army, where he used his healing power to become a doctor. Nick Elliott's death reveals that Miles' life is in jeopardy. So he's about to be found out, y'all. Miles is scared, his heart beating, because he likes his life. He has a freedom that he has never known, and he doesn't want to give it up. So Tristan Hunter is an amaranthine, a celestial being with more power than any witch or mage. Basically, an amaranthine in this book is like an angel. So, but he's dampering down his magic so people can't see it. And we're going to pause for just a second. So there are all different kind of, according to Christian theology, mythology, there are several different kind of angels, and one of them is called a seraphim. And all of them, depending on if it's a seraphim, which is like an angel with 100 eyes, and or cherubs or whatever, they all come and they always say, "Be ye not afraid." And I'm just like, bruh, you have 100 eyes and all of them are looking at me right now. You're telling me not to be scared. Okay, I'm gonna freak out. I'm freak out quietly over here. As a matter of fact, Beelzebub, hang on, I'm coming with you. This thing is scaring me. Don't leave me here with it. So he has to tamper down his magic because he doesn't want everybody to know. Ooh, gotcha, flag on now. He doesn't want everybody to know that he's this angel walking around on Earth, because he has a mystery to investigate as well too. The Amaranthines, who are from Lanier, just got out of this war with Aylin. And it's been a while, but they thought that all the people, all the humans had died out, because when the human people die, they don't go to heaven. They apparently they can track souls in this particular universe, and the Amaranthines are like, what the heck is going on? These people, I don't know where they're going, but they're not going to heaven, and they all can't be bad. So that's a mystery that he has been sent by his court to figure out. So again, he was sent by his royal court to solve a mystery that is tied to Nick Elliott's murder. During this investigation, Miles is also recognized by his younger sister, Grace, who is both a mage and an heir to their family's magical legacy, and Miles' superior, or basically his owner. Grace needs Miles' help to secure an election so that she can make reforms for secondaries like him. Phew. So those are basically the main three characters. Of course, we have secondary characters and people to fill out the story. So again, this Witchmark is a mystery novel set in a fantasy world. And a lot of people, I think when they first read this book, it came out in 2018. I believe it came out in 2018. And so I think people were reading this book and they weren't realizing that it was going to be a part of a trilogy, because the way that this first book ends is kind of abrupt and things kind of get wrapped up with a little bit of a sort of happily ever after. I think that's the romance part of the book, is everybody wants a happily ever after. And so that's what she gave people. And so if you're reading this book, just know that the first one does a lot of world developing and world creation, which Theo Polk is very, very good at. So you got to give it time to develop, because there's 2 more books in the series that will flesh out the rest of the story. And we completed with the 3rd book, Soul Star. Okay, so let me check on y'all real quick, see if there's anything going on in these comments that I need to know about. Y'all seem to be okay. Remember to share the live stream. If you're enjoying me and my shenanigans, share it with your friends so they don't miss out either. Let me see what's going on here in Facebook land. Did we like the page? Like the video, please, y'all. Okay, we're good. Okay, so the narrative of this book follows Miles' point of view throughout the novel. His emotions, his feelings about his past, his family, his career, his choices, all kind of things are in the stream of consciousness of Miles. And it's through Miles being a victim of his family and society's abuse that make him both sympathetic and a reliable narrator. And so as we're uncovering the plot of what's really going on with the soldiers and their PTSD, and why the souls from Aylin aren't going to heaven, or their version of heaven, we mirror the discovery with Miles. I'll say that Miles was a reliable narrator, but sometimes he was a little bit clueless. You know, Miles was just like, Miles, baby, I know you a doctor and everything, but sometimes, sweetie, you just don't have any kind of common sense. What's going on with you, friend? What's going on? So anywho, one of the things that I really, really liked a lot about this book was definitely the world building. As you can see on the front cover of the book, there's a bicycle, and bikes play a huge part in this novel. They just, kind of are how people get around. Everybody does not have a car. Those are just now being invented in this world, and they're very expensive, but everybody does have a bike. And Miles has like 2 or 3 bikes, as poor as he is. And I say poor because, yeah, he could go back and live with his family if he wanted to be a slave, or he could keep working at the VA hospital and have his 2 little special bikes. He lives in a boarding house too, as well. But they talk about merging into traffic and with the bikes. And I think they call them flights of people that are riding together on the street. It kind of, I want to say it reminded me of Amsterdam, or what's that city in Europe where everybody rides bikes all the time? Not Stockholm, although they're known for their bike friendliness. I can't remember. I guess it's somewhere in Switzerland. I honestly can't remember. Please don't hold me to it, y'all. I will remember, and then I'll put it in the next newsletter. So remember to sign up for it. There goes the little copy that bit.ly link down there. You could go sign up for the newsletter when I remember what I'm talking about. But anywho, so I really like that aspect of the world building, how everybody, the vast majority of the population rides a bike. It's just a personal tick for me because I too ride a bike pretty much everywhere. I know y'all seen me putting about the streets of Pueblo on my electric bike. Another thing that I like about this world is that they have their form of electricity is called ether, and it's just everywhere, right? And so it has sometimes it doesn't work too well with technology, which is a big giant clue to the mystery. It's a huge clue to the mystery of this book. So anywho, I'm sorry I got off topic. Let me get back to my notes so I can get off my soapboxes. Let's see. So one of the things, like I said, that I really enjoyed about this book was, the first thing was incorporating the PTSD in the veterans of the war. It is very similar to what happened in our world and in our reality, how at the end of World War I, a lot of people just did not understand PTSD and what it did to people and how that changed people when they were coming back from the war. Think of the hobbits and how they couldn't stay in Hobbitville. That's not what it's called. It's the Shire, y'all. I just made that up. Because Merry and Pippin and them and Frodo and Samwise had gone through something that completely changed them. And it was difficult for them to relate to their family and friends, vice versa. And that was Home Skillet. Y'all don't forgive me for messing that man's name up. Home Skillet, who wrote The Hobbit. Can't remember his name, but that was his way of describing what was going on with him and his friends when they were in the war. So it's kind of like an allegory. So I really liked that aspect because I immediately knew what was going on. I'm like, oh, homeboy got PTSD. They called him old George and young George in the book. And I was like, he got PTSD. Y'all need to get that man some help. He gonna hurt somebody. And sure enough, he did hurt somebody. So I'm going to launch into a few spoilers. Again, people who are watching the replay, if you have not finished this book, stop right now because we finna spoil some stuff, okay? In the next few minutes. One of the second things that I really thought was interesting about this book were the magical systems and the hierarchy, and how both of them played a part in the mystery of the stories. So secondaries being seen as a source of magic, really kind of set up how I can't say that word, hierarchical. That's not right. That's not how you say that word. Let me see if I can read it. Hierarchy. I can't say it. Somebody put it in the comments for me. Spell it out phonetically so I can practice saying it. But it's a hierarchy, an order of things, like a caste system. I know what I'm talking about. I just cannot say it. So I liked how they used that to say that even in a magical universe where we think it's all going to be rainbow and unicorns and magic brooms that sweep up things and dishes that wash themselves, people will find a way to oppress and separate. And I really think that was part of Polk's tone for this magic system reflects English history and how they always felt they had to conquer people in order to feel powerful. And that's just a fact. You could pick up any history book and look at that teeny little island, England, and they went around conquering half the world. Like, they used to call it the empire where the sun never sets. Or I think that might be Japan. I'm getting my history facts mixed up, but I'm not wrong about England going around and colonizing a bunch of different places. They just really did. Went all around looking for spices and won't use them. But let me not digress. The third thing that I really like about C.L. Polk's writing is how it's basically like a political statement. It's as much as a political statement as it is immersed in a fantasy world. And so like the magical gifts are essential as the witch or the mage who wields them. And oftentimes being an outsider of a group, it is easy to look at somebody like Miles and Grace who come from powerful, wealthy families and think, well, what do they have to be worried about or oppressed? They're rich. They're never going to go hungry. They're never going to have to worry about being cold or not having clothing or not having a place to live or anything like that. But my goodness, those people can still be oppressed as well. And Miles and Grace's relationship is indicative of this. When she sees her brother and she recognizes him and she's like, oh my God, it's you. I thought you were dead. She's upset. But she always knew that he was going to be her secondary and what that meant. And so when he does agree to do certain things for her, like healing their father and going to certain dinners, we're introduced into that society of wearing the right clothes, living in the right neighborhood, speaking with a certain type of accent and inflection, and not even having the freedom to marry who you want to marry or live the life that you would like to live. Miles ends up falling in love with Tristan, and he was talking with his sister, and he was talking about how he was going to go visit a friend, and Grace is like, you don't have to pretend like you're not sleeping with men, bro. You still doing that? Ain't you a little old for that? So it seems like in this society that queerness, and when I say queer, I don't mean that in the derogatory term. It's the Q part of the LGBTQIA. Sometimes the Q stands for questioning. Sometimes it stands for queer. I'm using it as the queer part this time. But it seems like they think of same-sex relationships, at least in men, as immature, and she thought he would grow out of it. Or maybe she's reminding him, we are of a certain class and you need to make some babies. And so how you gonna make babies if you sleeping with men? How is that? You got obligations. If you want to keep getting these posh outfits, these clothes, these foods, these party invitation, helping me make political connections, you can't do that you can't do that having sex with a man. I need to marry you off. Daddy wants to marry you off. Little things like that. I really think Grace is clueless. That girl is clueless about a lot of the power imbalances that she is privy to, because she is not necessarily the one doing the oppression, but she's benefiting from it. She's benefiting from it, and she doesn't always stop to think about the people who aren't, and has no idea what their lives are like. Not really, not really. She keeps trying to get Miles. Once she finds him, she keeps telling him that she'll never bind him to her. And binding is something that mages do to witches, and then they can't ever leave unless the witch lets them go, and they siphon power off from them. They talk about abuse in marriage in these relationships, and how a lot of the more powerful mages will have side pieces or courtesans. It's a side piece. That's a fancy French word for side piece. If that's not your wife, that's not your husband, it's a side piece. I don't care what language you say it in, it's a side piece. So anyway, they have side pieces, and there's a lot of abuse going on. So I really think that Grace comes a really, really long way. I'm currently listening to the second book in the Kingston cycle, Storm Song, and in this book, she's coming a really, really long way. So anywho, what ends up happening is Tristan is rich. He's got his own apartment. Miles is living in a boarding house, and he has to be in by a certain time, and he's not getting any dinner, and he's getting locked out. And when his sister finds him, she starts popping up at his boarding house and wanting to chill and stuff. And his landlady is like, Miles, you didn't tell us that you was rich, and you had this sister and all this. And one thing that I really liked, one of the scenes in the book between Miles and his landladies, whose name I am forgetting right now, sorry to that lady, she is talking to him, and they're having tea, and they're drinking it, and she goes to clear away Grace's teacup, because Grace was there earlier, and she looks at the leaves. She's reading tea leaves because she's a witch, or she has a witch's talent. And she's like, she sees it, and she's like, and he's like, what? And, she doesn't explain anything. She just takes the cup and throws it in the backyard. He can hear it breaking. And in their society, especially because she's in a boarding house, she runs a boarding house. She doesn't have a ton of money either. And for her to throw away one of her best cups of china, it has to be something big and bad coming toward Grace. And so she doesn't want to bring it up, because to speaking evil is to call it and bring a name to it. I really like these little touches of superstition that C.L. Polk put throughout the book, because I can identify with certain things like that. As a lot of y'all know, I find any excuse on every live stream to bring up my grannies, and here I go again talking about my grannies. But as a lot of you know, I had 9 grandparents, and a couple of my grandmothers were hoodoo practitioners. And they had a lot of little superstitions, like not getting swept with broom. If you were sweeping and you swept somebody with broom, you had to spit on the broom. That person that got swept had to spit on the broom, otherwise they'd have bad luck. Or we couldn't leave onion skins on the floor. If you put onion skins on the floor, they would cause an argument. Little things like that. And so I really like those little touches of world building, of folklore and superstitions. Come to find out, Miles' landlady was right. Something bad was coming toward Grace. So anywho, Miles ends up moving out of that boarding house, because it's just no longer feasible. Once his sister understands where he is and who he is, she's just gonna stop by and come by anytime. So he ends up he ends up moving in with Tristan, his new boyfriend. It's so cute. That it's a slow burn too. This whole book, they don't really like get to the good juicy parts until like the last 30% of the book. So anywho, he ends up moving in with Tristan, so this can help them investigate their case of figuring out what the heck was going on with Nick Elliott. Nick Elliott was a witch. Miles, he called Miles Bright One. Hang on, what did he call him? It's in my notes. You see why I have to write notes, y'all? Because if I don't, then I will forget what I was talking about. Hang on, he called him. What did he call him? Starred One and Sir Christopher. He called him Starred One. So anywho, because he could see that Miles' mother, who was also a witch, had passed on her energy to Miles. And I'm not sure how Nick found out about him, but he did. Nick was investigating the witch asylums because did y'all see that old yucky fly on my face? Go on now. Ooh, there it goes again. This is not funny, fly. Go on, I'm doing a live stream. You need to go somewhere. Rude. So anyway, Nick is also investigating these witch asylums. Any person who is found out to be a witch gets sent away to these asylums. I think that could be considered a allegory of people being gay, because there's a lot of LGBTQ references in this book, and relationships and whatnot throughout the whole series. And so I think that might be that allegory of, if we can't find anything useful for you, if your talents aren't of use to us and you will not let us use you, or have that I know why the cage bird sings, what is it, gilded cage kind of enslavement, then we're going to throw you into the asylum. Nick Elliott's mother was sent to one of these asylums. Remember, we talked about spoilers. We finna spoil a whole bunch of stuff right now. So replay viewers, go on and pause if you have not finished at least Witchmark. So Nick Elliott's mother was sent to an asylum, and he was like, something is not right. What are y'all doing with all these witches? What is happening? And he happens to be a reporter at a newspaper, and he starts going to these different towns, just different visits. And it doesn't make any sense until somebody starts connecting the train lines that are going out of the town that seem to go nowhere. Remember, not everybody has a car. We at the turn of the century, most of the people are riding bikes. Most people cannot afford cars unless you like a duke or a duchess or a powerful mage or something like that. And so what they realize is that these are basically ley lines. They're going out to the different witch asylums, and come to find out all that ether that I was talking about earlier, that powers their lights, that heats up the water, that does all kind of different things. They're siphoning that from witches. They're siphoning that away from witches. And so that was the impetus for Nick trying to find out, because he's like, I want to know where my mom is, what's happening. She's been gone and put away for 20 years. So they're enslaving these witches and taking their magical essence so that they can power the city. So yay. One of the things that I did not that I thought was a little bit unrealistic about the book is that nobody ever thought to question where ether came from. Like in the book, I don't remember one character going, I wonder where ether comes from. Like, you can't tell me that when you were a little kid, or if you're a little kid watching this now, hi, little children's, that you never wondered about where electricity came from. Like, y'all don't have Louis the Lightning Bug in this world. You didn't have Schoolhouse Rock. Y'all remember electricity. They didn't, nobody questioned this. So part of why, Tristan Hunter is there is because he's basically an angel from a different country, or from the celestial world. And they was like, child, there ain't nobody coming to heaven no more from this one particular country. What is happening? Let's go find out. The powers that be, including Grace and Miles' fathers, whose name I forgot, but he is a piece of work. He's a piece of work whose name does not deserve to be remembered, because the way he did his children, enslaving one and almost killing the other, and killing their mama, evil old man. That man, he was riddled with cancer too. And Miles went in and used his healing talent and shrunk them tumors, and he jumped up and got Miles and said, gotcha. And then Miles, and then he overpowered Miles and bound him to his sister. And I'm like, see, Miles, you should have let that evil man just wither up and die. But he didn't, because his sister needed her father alive, because she's got this political thing that she wants to do to make things better for all the seconds. But one person, what's that? One monkey don't stop no show. So she needs all the political power that she can gather. And so that's why Miles ended up staying. He ran away from his sister and all that stuff. Anywho, back to Tristan. Tristan is sent to figure out why there are no more souls coming to the afterlife. Come to find out the powers that be in Ayland, sounds a lot like England, doesn't it? Have started trapping people's souls so they don't go back to heaven. They get put in the Ethernet network to power everything. And what the soldiers are coming back with, that little knot in their mind, is they are being punished. I think it was a bio weapon. It's not a bio weapon, but it's a weapon that the people from there go that dang fly. I got it, y'all. Oh, I killed the fly. He was in my ear. That is nasty. Oh, y'all, that's nasty. He was in my ear, but he's not gonna bother nobody anymore. I told you to shoot. Anywho, so the PTSD that these soldiers are suffering with is when they killed a person from Lanier, that soldier then haunted them. Somebody was using necromancy to trap the souls to siphon off the power of all the witches, but they used necromancy to get back at the to tie the souls of the soldiers that were killed to the alien soldiers. So when they come back to home, then all of these soldiers are basically possessed with these they're possessed with these dead soldiers who want to kill their enemy. And so it's just, whew, y'all, it was, to get there was an interesting long road. It wasn't long as in, oh my God, this is so horrible and boring or anything like that. It just took some twists and turns. I did not expect I thought it was just PTSD. I did not expect necromancy. I was not expecting necromancy. I was not expecting for the hallucinations to be so real, because they were real. Each soldier was being haunted by someone they had killed, and they had attached their soul to them. And so oftentimes when those men would wake up and they had killed family and friends, they weren't the ones that actually did it. It was one of the soldiers from the war that they were just in, one of the enemy soldiers that had attached to their soul. And Miles was one of the only people who could untangle it, unravel. They described it as an entanglement. And Miles' talent was healing and unraveling those sorts of things. And so was his psychiatry. So that was really the gist of it. I really enjoyed the world building for this story. I really liked the commentary, the social commentary on hierarchies and abuse of power and political intrigue, and just the whole idea of freedom and what it can cost you and what you're willing to give up to have it. If you are interested in, there's a fly carcass over here now, because I'm also, one of my talents is killing flies. We'll talk about that one time, but there's a fly carcass now on my notes. Let's just fold it this way. So if you are interested in more books that are like Witchmark, besides the ones in the trilogy that C.L. Polk wrote, they are called Gaslamp Fantasies or Gaslamp Fictions. One word, Gaslamp. There's some books that I can recommend that are similar, in the similar vein. The first one is called A Master of Jinn, and it's a series in the first. It's the first in the series Dead Jim universe, and it's by P. DeJelle Clark. Another book is called The Last Son by K.D. Edwards. If you're wanting more of the LGBTQIA romances, then there is a book called The Queer Principles of Kitweb by Cat Sebastian. Now, we have a bunch of audiobooks that I think will help you understand more of the Victorian and Edwardian social class and hierarchy. And I really like them because they are also mysteries, which is basically what this book was, mystery with a love story thrown in. Some of these books are mysteries, some of them are romance. So it's a combination between the two. The first set of books that I'm going to recommend, if you want more books kind of doing a deep dive into Victorian and Edwardian society and structure, is you're going to want to check out a series called A League of Extraordinary Women by Evie Dunmore. These are romances, and I would say they're about 3 chili peppers hot. So they're going to be more explicit about certain topics, sexual topics, and things like that. So if that's not your cup of tea and you just want to stick to some implied things, you might not like these ones. But I say if you watched, shows like How to Get Away with Murder, or I don't watch a bunch of TV, y'all, so excuse me if my references are old and outdated. But Real Housewives of whatever. Wait, that's not a good example. I was trying to say Sex in the City. Then you should be able to read these books. Okay, so Bringing Down the Duke is the first in a League of Extraordinary Women book series, and that's by Evie Dunmore. There are so far 3 books in the series. There's probably going to be 4 total. And these books surround women who are trying to get the vote, suffragettes in England, and they're all upper crust women. And they're all also going to Oxford, which was a big deal at the time as well, too. Let's see what else. The second series of books that I'm going to recommend to help you explore Edwardian and Victorian hierarchies and whatnot are the Veronica Speedwell series by Deanna Rayborn. The first one in that book series is called A Curious Beginning. She's a lepidopterist. That's how I knew what that word meant, y'all. We were talking about it earlier. I knew about lepidoptery because I was reading those Veronica Speedwell books. The library has those books in print, as well as an e-audio book. I can't remember if they are on the Cloud Library or if they're on the Libby app, but we have almost all of them, and they're very well written, and they go a little bit further into explaining these social hierarchies. I think sometimes for Americans, it's hard for us to see the different social stratifications in our own society, and it's easier to look at other people's society and understand those different social stratifications. As the old Buddhist saying goes, you can't see your own eyelashes. So even though we have our own societal hierarchy and caste system, y'all remember when we read Isabel Wilkerson's Caste? We read that book because it ties into a lot of different things as well, including social hierarchy that you might not always be aware of, kind of like Grace in the book. I think that's it. I hope that this discussion really helped you pique your interest in these books and series. And if I gave you any spoilers for this book, I'm sorry, but I did warn you. But also, you can read the other 2, and I can't spoil those because we won't be doing a live stream on those. But let's talk about, I'm loud. I didn't mean to yell in y'all's ear. I'm sorry. Let's talk about some upcoming events that will be happening here at LAM. As y'all know, and maybe y'all don't, but now you do. We have teen night on Tuesdays at 4 and tween night on Wednesdays at 4. There's an activity, usually movies or game or some craft that they do down here, and the kids get snacks and they get to interact with each other. So that's teen night is on Tuesday at 4, and that's for 13 through 18, and tween night is on Wednesday at 4, and I think that's 8 to 12, the age range. I believe it's somewhere around there. This Saturday at 12 p.m., we're going to be showing A Slight Case of Murder. It's going to be downstairs. It's downstairs here where I am at LAM on Saturday. So if you are free, stop by and watch a movie on us. Let's see what else we got coming up. Next week, Rachel is going to be announcing the grand prize winner for Arttober. Arttober is a daily drawing challenge that has been taking place from the 1st of October through the 31st. And so the grand prize winner is going to get a prize. So that's going to be announced next week. So check in with the LAM Facebook page or just give us a call here at LAM Library to find out who won. Actually, they're going to contact the winner. So the winner, you'll be contacted if you win, so you don't have to worry about contacting us. But if you just want to know who won, you could call us and we'll tell you. Let's see some really cool and interesting things that we're going to be doing next month. Lise, who works here at LAM, is going to be doing a writing workshop on the 18th of November. She's a published writer. Lise, our MHT, is a published writer because LAM is fancy, y'all. We got a published writer on staff. Actually, if y'all come in this month, we did a LAM display of artwork. Everybody here at LAM is talented. Let me just go in and brag on my coworkers. We're all talented. And one of the things that Lise put up was a couple of the books that she has written. So I'm very proud to brag on Lise, y'all. We finna have us a whole writing workshop with a whole published author right here at Lamb. You don't want to miss out on that. That's going to I was looking on here. It says November the 18th. Let me see if I can find it on here, y'all. I wanted to see if registration or something like that was required. No, it's a virtual class, so it's virtual. 3 to 5 writing workshop. It's going to be on Facebook and YouTube. It is registration required. So you just call the library or call up here to Lamb so we can register you. Okay, because you don't want to miss out on that. Let's see. I do believe that is it. Of course, we're going to be having our legal health clinic on the first Friday in November. That's the 5th. That's from 3:30 to 5. You do have to be registered for that. So try to get that done. I don't even know how many spots we have left because they do run out. We're going to be having another vaccination clinic here at Lamb on Tuesday, November 9th. That's 1 through 6 or 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. So if you have not yet gotten your vaccination for COVID, you can come to Lamb and do that. And actually, if you go to pueblolibrary.org, you can, on our website, we list several different spots that the vaccination bus will be at. A lot of them are the libraries. So you can check that out if that particular date doesn't work for you. I do believe that's roughly it. Let me just make sure I'm not. Oh, I forgot. We are doing lunch on Friday for the children. Kids hang out and lunch. That is going to be 11:30 to 1:30 every Friday. They're going to get a snack and an activity and some sort of take-home project or something like that. So if you are looking for an activity for the children that is 0 to 18 years old, we feed them lunch here on Fridays. Starting at, I keep looking down here, 11:30. So come on by so we can enrich your children, enrich their bellies, and enrich their minds. I think that's it. Oh, no, I lied to y'all. This is it. No, this is the last thing because I had to make way for the next people who are coming down here to do an activity. Actually, I think we're doing some movie nights. So that's cool. Adult movie night. But like I said, this is the last live stream for this year for the book club. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me this whole year. I appreciate you. I appreciate the feedback that y'all give me when you see me at the library or around town, because goodness knows I can't walk around Pueblo without somebody going, hey, lovely. I'm like, hey, y'all. Y'all know how much I like to walk. You see me everywhere. Anywho, so the newsletter will still be going out. So please sign up for the newsletter so you can keep abreast of what's going on. I will be putting out all of the books that we'll be reading for 2022 in the December newsletter. So sign up before then. Pardon me. So that you could get a head start. I'm going to do a end of the year kind of a wrap up. It's going to be like a video like this where we talk about all the books that we read and the live streams. But also I want to hip you guys. Why do I sound like some 60 cool cat? Like I'm in a jazz club. I want to talk to you guys about several different series that I found fascinating. Top 10 books of the year, nonfiction books. As y'all know, I read everything. I mean, I read so many different books and genres, and we can't talk about all of them during the live stream. And there's only so many displays I can make, and I can't even read all the books that I want to read, which is why I'm recommending them to y'all, because I can read them all with a little bit of help from y'all. I'm just like, look, this book looks interesting. Please read it so you can tell me about it, because I don't have the time, but you might. All right. Thank y'all so much. Please stop by so you can take a look at the Lamb display of all of our wonderful artwork. Remember, we're announcing the winner for Arttober. We're going to feed your babies on Friday. That's tomorrow. So y'all can come on by tomorrow so we can get them babies nourished in their bellies and in their minds. And then Saturday, we're having a movie. We just doing a lot over here at Lamb. Y'all don't want to miss out. So like my little ticker tape says, sign up for the newsletter, because I have so many awesome things that we're going to be doing. Even though this is the last stream, this is not the last you're going to see of me. So make sure to sign up to the newsletter so that you can participate. Okay, y'all, that's the end of the live stream. I'm going to go turn these books in so y'all can check them out. Okay. Bye. Thank you guys so much. I will see you very, very soon. Bye.